In March of 2026, Live Nation settled its biggest legal threat in company history with the U.S. government. No breakup, no dissolution. Investors cheered. The stock jumped on what analysts called regulatory clarity. 1 month later, a federal jury looked at the exact same company, the exact same conduct, and delivered a complete defeat. Guilty on every single antitrust count. 2 courts, 2 verdicts, same company, same behavior. And the reason a settlement with the U.S. government couldn't actually make this go away is buried in a quirk of how American law is structured, something almost nobody outside a courtroom understands. We'll get to it. This isn't a story about one obviously evil company finally getting caught. Live Nation didn't do anything 100 other dominant companies haven't tried. What makes this story worth telling is what it reveals about a blind spot most people have in how they think government accountability actually works. In 2010, Live Nation, the concert promotion giant, merged with Ticketmaster, the dominant ticketing platform. The Obama-era Justice Department approved the merger, but only with conditions. Live Nation couldn't retaliate against venues that chose other ticketing providers, among other behavioral rules. Then came November 2022. Ticketmaster's verified fan presale for Taylor Swift's Eras Tour collapsed under demand, froze for millions of fans, and became a national news story. It's widely seen as the moment ticketing fees in Live Nation's dominance went from niche complaint to mainstream outrage. In May 2024, the Justice Department in a coalition of 30 states sued Live Nation, alleging the company illegally monopolized live event ticketing in amphitheater venues. The numbers that came out during the case were staggering. From 2019 to 2024, consumers paid $16.4 billion in mandatory fees to Ticketmaster. $11 billion of that was fee revenue alone. Live Nation controlled roughly 86% of primary ticketing at major U.S. venues and about 78% of large outdoor amphitheaters. Then, in March 2026, a week into the trial, Live Nation and the DOJ reached a surprise settlement: divest 10 amphitheaters, cap certain service fees at 15%, open Ticketmaster's back end to competitors, and pay into a $280 million fund for the states. No breakup. Live Nation's stock rose on the news. But dozens of states thought that deal let the company off too easy. They rejected it and pushed the trial forward without the DOJ. On April 15, 2026, the jury sided with them completely. Live Nation was found guilty of illegal monopolization and illegal tying, bundling its venues to its promotion business to squeeze out rivals. The jury calculated concertgoers had been overcharged by $1.72 on every single ticket, going back to 2010.
A month later, the states came back with a new demand. Not fees, not fines, but the thing the DOJ settlement was specifically designed to avoid: a full court-ordered breakup, forcing Live Nation to divest Ticketmaster entirely. If you've made it this far, you're exactly who this channel is for. Subscribing helps me keep making these. No pressure, but I'd appreciate it. Here's the quirk almost nobody understands. In American antitrust law, the Justice Department is not the only cop on the beat. State attorneys general have independent legal standing to sue the same company over the same conduct, and a settlement with the DOJ does not bind them. When 30-plus states decided the federal deal was too weak, they weren't reopening a closed case. Legally, their case had never been closed at all. That's the hidden cause behind Live Nation's whiplash month. The company didn't get unlucky, and the DOJ didn't get outmaneuvered by a rogue judge. It ran headfirst into a structural feature of U.S. antitrust enforcement. Accountability isn't one gate you pass through. It's up to 51 separate gates, one federal, 50 state level, and clearing one doesn't clear the rest. This is bigger than concert tickets. Most people picture the government as a single entity that a company can negotiate with once and be done. In reality, U.S. antitrust enforcement is deliberately fragmented across federal and state lines, a structure that looks inefficient on paper but functions as a safety net. If federal enforcers settle for less than a case seems to justify, whether from political pressure, resource constraints, or plain misjudgment, individual states can still pursue the exact same claims on behalf of their own residents. It's the same reason tobacco companies faced both a federal case and a 50-state settlement in the 1990s, and why breaking up with one antitrust plaintiff has never meant breaking up with all of them. For a dominant company, it means there is no single deal that buys total peace. The remedies fight is still unresolved. As of this recording, Judge Arun Subramanian has to decide between the lighter DOJ-negotiated path Live Nation already agreed to, or the state's request for a full structural breakup, a decision that will likely be appealed regardless of outcome, dragging this out for years. Separately, a nationwide consumer class action over the same fees is already certified and headed toward its own trial in July 2027. Whatever happens in the boardroom, Live Nation's exposure isn't closing anytime soon. It's multiplying across courtrooms. So the real lesson here isn't just Live Nation broke the law. It's that in the U.S., dominance invites scrutiny from more directions than most companies or most consumers realize. A single settlement can move a stock price in an afternoon. It can't actually make 50 independent attorneys general go away. The illusion of closure is sometimes the most expensive mistake a company can make. If you want to see who gets tested next, subscribe. Corporate Truth breaks down one of these every week.